underway. So this first section, live content, radio, TV, online. Michael, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. Simon, how are you? Can I just ask you about Johnny Sexton and James Ryan, where they are in terms of HIA and how everything has gone post-match, and are they on track for the weekend?
Yeah, they both, obviously, they're both removed from the game, and they are currently going through the return to play protocols, Michael. So I guess it's a 6-day or 6-stage set of protocols, whereby each stage lasts about 24 hours, and then each stage, if there's no symptoms resulting from the concussion, that they can progress to the next stage. And at the moment, they're going through that, and there's been no setback so far. So that's kind of where we're at the minute. There's probably more to say later in the week, but currently they're both going through the same stage protocols to get back to return to play by the weekend.
In the course of the last couple of weeks, kind of in the build-up, talking to various people, including yourself and Andy, they talk about building momentum going into the championship, how that's huge. I mean, in this match against France on Sunday is effectively a cup final, isn't it?
I think that's a good way of putting it. We obviously didn't get the start that we would have hoped for, and it puts us sort of in a more difficult position than we think we should have been. But there's still a massive opportunity at the weekend. The French coming to town, opportunity for us to hopefully get parity in terms of numbers on the pitch, and have the opportunity to showcase what we feel like we're building. And like you say, for us to stay alive in the competition, it's a must win.
Thank you.
Here in Virgin Media News. Simon, you mentioned there obviously about James and Johnny Sexton and the return to play protocols. Are you planning that they will be available to play on Sunday?
Yeah, as far as we're aware, Sinead, that's exactly what we're planning. But obviously, if a stage has failed, they have to drop back a day, and then that obviously puts them under pressure. Our primary focus is their health and safety first and foremost. So if a player, which may well be the case at some stage this week, if a player feels like they can't complete the stage they're in, then they obviously have to drop back a stage, and that compromises their availability. But we're aware of that, and we have plans in place to potentially have to deal with that if they come along. But at the moment, that's what we're planning for, is that they get through each stage each day, and they get that one step further to making themselves available by the weekend.
Was there consideration given to bringing in another out half, just in case?
No, not at this stage. No, Billy and Ross have been with us, for the last couple of weeks. We're really comfortable with where they're at and what they can offer the team. And I think it's credit to them, the hard work they're putting in when they're not necessarily getting the minutes with Johnny being skipper, but it certainly wasn't a thought of ours, partly due to the fact that we believe Johnny will get through those protocols and get back to playing, but also feeling like we're confident and we're backing those guys that are in the system already, and didn't feel the need to add to the squad.
Hi Simon, just wondering what the spirit is like in the camp. I know you've been through defeats before, but a couple of the things that happened in the match were particularly hard to take, I guess. But how was the spirit? How has it been to lift the guys?
This group is really resilient, and I don't believe it's that hard to do that. Disappointment will live with the lads for a good while, I'm sure. But like we know in sport, when you get an opportunity to turn things around and play quickly after a defeat, there's no better thing to do. So We've had a day of sort of recovery, sort of mental and physical yesterday. Chats around the group, the opportunity for players to air a few thoughts and for them to chat amongst themselves, and as coaches for us to reflect on the performance. And today it's back to business. We have to hit the ground running, and as much as there's still a few sore bodies around, mentally the players are in a good place, and they understand what it'll take to get a result this weekend, and also the need to do that to stay alive in the competition.
And when you were talking about players giving their thoughts on it, does that happen during the review? Is that kind of an open forum, or does that focus on stuff you have picked out before? How does that go without revealing any inside secrets?
No secrets. I guess it's we believe, and what Faz has created here is an opportunity for players to have an opinion, and when we as coaches are sitting and reflecting on the game, we're not in it. We're not the ones that are making those decisions and making the calls. So it's about a collaboration, I guess, of thoughts and understanding what parts of the game we think we could have done better, parts of the game we thought we did well, and parts of the game that we need to improve on. Looking at ourselves first and foremost, and then we'll be starting to cast an eye today and the course of the week to what's coming up next weekend. But certainly it's an opportunity for everyone to open up and have an opinion about the performance, whether they started, whether they're on the bench, or whether they're in the wider squad.
Thank you.
Simon, how have you found the last couple of weeks adjusting now to just focusing on the defensive role rather than trying to juggle both that and the forwards?
I find it an easy transition, to be honest. We've obviously got a brilliant operator in Paulie coming in and taking the lead at the line out. So it wasn't a hard thing to do. We had plenty of conversations prior to coming into camp around the line out, what we think we needed to improve on, what our strengths were, what some of the weaknesses were, both as a unit and individually. And I think that transition was good. We had disruption in the game, Pete going off and James going off early, and I thought we adapted pretty well to that. So, yeah, listen, it's what I think was the right thing to do, and I know the players are benefiting from Paulie's experience and his detail. And I think we'll start to see that. We already did on the weekend, but we'll start to see that over the next couple of weeks.
Did you feel at the time in the latter stages of the last campaign that you had taken on a bit too much personally?
No, I think it was what I was asked to do, and I think we'd had, I guess we had a few changes last season. A couple of more senior players leaving the group throughout 2020. A few new guys coming in. I think we gave 11 or 12 debuts. Quite a few of those were in the forward pack, and that transition is always going to cause a few teething problems. But no, I think it was the right thing. I had plenty of support in all areas from Fogs. In the line out, and from Faz, Catty, and Richie in the defence. So for me it was certainly the right thing to do. Something that we've spoken about for a while. Not necessarily something that was a response or a reaction to what we did during the autumn.
All right, thanks.
Simon, in terms of the abilities of France in attack and how special they are, how do you go about preparing?
Listen, they pose threats across the park. You only saw on the weekend how dangerous they can be if you offer them the space. So it's certainly certainly something that we are I guess fully aware of. What we need to do is make sure that we can be better probably at what we do, whoever we're playing against. So we conceded 2 tries on the weekend, and I think both were avoidable, regardless of whether we were 14 or 15 men on the pitch. So making sure that we get get our own things right first. Certainly, the threats that they will pose are greater than some teams, no doubt. Ball in hand, their ability to attack the gain line, to offload, to get behind teams. Their kicking game, they have the multi-threat team. But I think if we get our own house in order, then it becomes a lot easier to defend any team, regardless of their individuals.
I have time for just one more here, Ed. You're going to finish up on you there.
Obviously, mistakes happen in sport. I was just wondering how Pete has been since the weekend, because obviously it's a blow for the team, but also a blow for him personally that he's now looking likely to miss a few more games.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's gutted that they had to leave the field. That the lads had to continue for a large chunk of the game with 14 men. He's going through the process today of the hearing, and he's able to, I guess, to give his account of what happened. But people make mistakes. That happens. We, on the whole, we responded really well to that, and I think it would have been far better if we'd have had 15 men on the pitch for large chunks of the game. But the decision was made. There were other decisions in the game that weren't made, and we have to deal with that, and we can't look back. So yeah, disappointment, massive disappointment for Pete in himself, and he'll have to deal with that himself. But certainly the guys have rallied round and hopefully get him back into the mix sooner rather than later. And like I said earlier, we could have solved a lot of those problems even with 14 men. To concede the 2 tries we did, that's still something that we could have done better ourselves. So, it's up to us to make sure that we fix those things regardless of how many players we have available to us.
Did he feel a need to apologise?
Sorry?
Did he feel a need to apologise to the group?
Sorry, we're out of time there. Sorry, Simon. I have to cut that down at 12 minutes.
Okay.
It's our COVID rules. I'm afraid about that. So we're going to have to switch into our embargo.